So hi, my name is Cherish Brisky, and I'm here with Miss Annette McGuire Davis.
Mhm.
We work together at the Leeds Jane Copeland Library. So tell me about yourself.
Okay. My name is Annette McGuire. My background is in education. My degree is in elementary education, and I have worked in 3 states and taught in Connecticut, Arkansas, and Alabama.
Oh wow.
In Florida, actually, it's 4 states. Um, and I've learned a lot about the different teaching methods, and it's been a lot of fun. But in Connecticut, I had an opportunity to work in a hotel, so I got some event background, and then that kind of moved into marketing the hotel. And so through that, my background is it's a lot.
There's a lot.
So, but I've been able to bring my education into a lot of the jobs because I'm able to make materials for people and do research for people and then train and teach people. So it's a nice degree to have, I found.
Cool. That's
And
really
I
interesting.
enjoy being here. I am now full time and I'm working to do the events here at the library.
Because you're a children's librarian now.
Yes, the children and adults. So I'm doing the programs.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be fun to do.
That's cool.
Yes.
So what would you do if a student came to you for a book about a specific animal?
About a specific animal. I would probably, going back to an example of that is a fourth grade class that I taught. We were learning about worms. And we started started by the book using the example of how to eat fried worms. And it was a chapter book. And we had worms, we looked at the worms, but we needed habitat. So we did a colloquium, if I said it right.
You did it right.
And we just brainstormed what we needed to know about worms, and we had a really good time. The kids were pushing me up against the wall. I was just on the whiteboard just trying to write everything down. They were so excited. So with that, we wanted to go do research. And we problem solved before we went there, but they all just were excited to get to the library, but they realized, we don't really know where to go to get the worm information because we want to know habitats. So if they wanted to know a specific about a worm, that's when we broke it down and problem solved and said, okay, let's look at the W's and where they're supposed to be. Let's look over in science where they're supposed to be. And we used the computer to do that search. And then we were able to expand from our brainstorming to find the information we needed and pictures that we needed to make the habitat.
Did you collaborate with your school librarian on it?
We did. She, beforehand, I kind of warned her that we were all going to go. So she was really excited about being there. And she had pulled some books or knew exactly where they needed to be. And we were helping them learn how to research while we were teaching the worms. So we were just expanding the opportunity to learn how to use the library. It was a beautiful library, and it was the first year to be at that school.
Oh, cool.
So it was crisp books and beautiful carpets
and pretty everything.
Pretty everything, exactly. It was very exciting for them.
That's real cool.
Yes, it was fun.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do if a student can't find a specific reference?
A specific reference. When in that particular incident, it was an incident because we all came back to us like, what do we do now?
Oh, okay.
That's when we guided them to the computers. We showed them the encyclopedias. And we showed them the different ways of particular science books, picture books, chapter books, and the different ways of getting it. So if they couldn't find the animal that they wanted, we had to dig a little bit deeper and find, well, what kind of, is it an insect? To break it down to find the different kinds of information. Classifications.
So when you were showing them how they use the computers to do for research, did you warn them about like Wikipedia? Did you say like you can use it, but not as like a full resource?
We did. Wikipedia is, I'm very proud of it because the man who invented it went to Auburn, and that was pretty exciting. But it we didn't use it as an absolute resource, but we were able to show them at the bottom where they got their references. And so we could use the bottom part, but sort of a skimming over and a search of what the information is that we were looking for, but it could also guide us to different books. So that's, we did say it's not like the go-to, like an encyclopedia, but it's, I think anyone can put their information in there. It's not a absolute,
It's an edited contributional type of thing.
which
People
is
can-
amazing. It really is. It's gathered gathered some good things, but
Yeah, people can use it for anything.
it's amazing. Yeah,
It's amazing.
has it on anybody and everybody.
And then you have like Scholarpedia, which is kind of the same thing, like, for
Oh.
articles and stuff.
Wow. Okay, that's good too.
So what references would you recommend to a student, either online or in print?
Which one would I? Well, I kind of like personally the book. I read something recently that said that children don't really retain as much information when they read it online than if they read it in a book. So I particularly like it because it has, I love books. So I like to be able to turn the page, see the color, and tell the story. And just that whole experience is nice for me with children. But finding and researching, you have a whole world of information on the computer that you can just gather so much and then print out. And it gets exciting to see how far you can get and how much information you can get. So my preference would be books because I love books. But I research everything and I start with online usually.
Oh, okay. Because you love books, why you start books?
Right.
first?
I know, right? Because it's on my phone and and it's that instant information, I think.
Instant.
But it usually guides me to a book, and
that's
so
good.
I go right to that and gather more information. And I have a lot of books. You probably do too.
I have a lot of books. Yeah. So did you find challenges with children who are more visual learners when looking for references when using books instead of
Visual
using
learners?
online?
What do you mean, like?
I mean people who either learn by like videos or presentations or
I say, right. There, in a classroom, there's always the different types of learnings, and the auditory type learners, the visual learners, the hands-on learners, all of that. And when I would teach, I would try to do all of that and really touch everybody so they can have a feeling that they're building their own habitat and they're building. But for visual learners, they did need more information. So we would watch videos, or we would watch, we watched How to Eat Fried Worms after we read the chapter book. We watched that too. We would watch National Geographic movies, and they would talk about the worms and their habitats and who eats them, and it's kind of stressful. But
poor worms.
right, I know, because we really fall in love with the worms. So we had some great wiggle worms. So,
Oh, yeah, okay.
but we just try to reach as many people and get them involved, so they want to learn more. And if you're just a tactile type, and we're only reading information and handing you out papers, it can be frustrating.
Did you do like handouts too, or you just did like?
We did. We made a notebook of it just so they would have a background and sort of a journal through what they were learning.
Did you keep worms in the classroom?
We did keep worms in the classroom.
Oh.
We did. We had some big, giant wiggle worms that we actually ordered offline, and we
Okay.
did it as a class, and we got our worms, and and at first it was all wiggly and scary, but after a while they all loved it because they learned about it.
Well, that's real good.
It was fun.
They probably had fun.
Yes, they did.
Learning about words.
Exactly.
I mean, at least you didn't have rabbits
Well, I know, right? That would have been fun.
or ladybugs, because that would have been real extra.
Ladybugs. We did do butterflies.
Oh, okay. It was the same process?
The same process, and then we released them, and it was kind of sad.
Oh.
Everybody was excited, and we had a big school release of the butterflies, and then we're like, wait, our friend left. So it was good.
So if a student came to you that didn't speak English fluently or just mainly spoke Spanish, how would you help them find a resource?
That is a big challenge. I do not speak much Spanish at all. And it's a struggle for me. Working with people, I've used Google Translate and just try to communicate with them that way. I just feel they're newcomers, right? And we want them to feel welcome, but it's stressful that I can't do that in their language. So with the student, it was nice that we had English as a second language teachers
Okay.
that we could use and help communicate. And recently in the middle school, there was a child who was very new and she didn't have any English. But she was immersed into the classroom. So if a person came in today and they wanted to know, at the library, we have a section that we can help them. But if they came in, it would be very difficult if they didn't have a translator. So that's a very interesting problem that it would be good to solve, to be ready for that, to make them feel welcomed into the library. We want them to learn, and we have so many books. I'm hoping to do programs about that.
Oh, that'd be a good program to
That would
have.
be good, I think.
So what do you just do, like?
I don't know how to speak Spanish, but I
you
want to
learn.
find somebody, right? I really want to, if that'll help.
I mean, it could help,
Yeah.
especially with Google Translate, because Google Translate isn't always reliable. You'd have to have like a
Right.
second source of translation app or
Right. It's
somebody that
true.
speaks Spanish.
Right. It's very true. But having our materials in Spanish and having our information, being able to say, welcome to the library, here's your card, and then have it also in Spanish
How would you do that, Spanish?
would be a very nice way to do that. We do have it in Spanish.
We should have it in Spanish.
That would be
we need to
good.
have it in Spanish.
I think that would be the only language that we would need in the area that I know of.
'Cause there's a lot of Hispanics in Leeds.
I think so. There are, yeah. It'd be good to welcome them here.
Yeah, it would be good to welcome them. They're like, that's a good idea.
It would be fun.
Yeah, they would love it.
Yes, I think so. Let's do it.
Yeah, we should do it. Okay. So how do you handle a child with disabilities, whether they don't speak or they are have physical disabilities and or are nonverbal
Okay.
and need help finding a reference?
Okay. So is this not ADHD? This is a physical disability that need help.
Or just want to learn about a subject?
Right. We've had teachers in the classroom. We have teachers that help with the individuals. Outside of that, if they came into our library today, one, we'd want to make them feel welcome, probably communicate the best we can with their caregiver, if these are specifically just children, not just children, but children and not adults. Finding how they can communicate. And there's been children that only can point to letters and pictures and just writing down what they are saying, or computers that voice what they say, and just be able to help them along. Sometimes they can do computers, but I guess it would be important, one, to be able to get into our door well with a wheelchair, and then having the resources to welcome them. So it would be a challenge. It really would. If it was just one person we couldn't communicate.
And the same goes for adults?
Exactly, right. And they're here ready to learn and to research and have that. I mean, it takes a big deal to get into the car and get here and specifically want something. It would be a good responsibility to fulfill that. Large print we have, but more resources. We have electronic books, I think for the children.
What three things would you need to or want to improve in the library?
That would be a good one.
That'd be a good one.
That would
Okay.
be a really good one. Having more Spanish information. I think we have an incredible staff here that's welcoming, just so pleasant and sweet, and make people excited about coming back, and they feel welcomed here. They're called by name. It's incredible what Miss Amy does. So just making it lighter and brighter, and maybe more computers would be good. And we have lots of books, but including now I really think it'd be good to have something for the disabled in Spanish. It would be wonderful if we had more pets.
You should probably get a pet.
Yeah, we should get a pet.
You should get a rabbit.
We should get a rabbit. I love rabbits. They're my favorite. Yes.
So how do you think the library has been useful for students and teachers?
Wow. My kids love the library. I'm just going back years, the excitement when it was Library Day, even being in the schools, in lead schools, they can't wait for Library Day. And it's not just specifically the librarian, it's free what I want to read. So it really helps literacy and helps, it just invests so much into their lives. Being able to read, the excitement of it. I was a reading teacher, and a second grader was really struggling, so he was specifically coming to me in Connecticut, and he finally went through all the little, the whole books, and finally getting to chapter books.
Oh, wow.
And when he finally got to that point, he wanted to go to the library, and it was his biggest day is, we're going to go to the library. You now know how to read. You can pick any book, and you're going to know how to read this book. And the confidence. So his name was Colin, walks into the library, very confident. But this kid was not at level when he started. He came in confident and picked the dictionary that was this big.
Oh, wow.
And they let him check it out.
And he read it?
Because he felt like he could read any book, so he went for the biggest book. And it was huge, but he had that much confidence. And being able to go in there and having the cheerleaders of librarians who love books and want people to be literate too, and to praise him along with that, I think it probably lasted his whole life.
Wow.
He was very excited about being able to read anything in that library. So I think it's very useful. There's so many different levels. There's large print, there's graphic novels, there's so many fun things. And research is good for children because they have so many questions. Mm-hmm. With the lady here today, she opened up more questions about a specific animal. So that's my favorite animal. I want to learn more about it. And we just let them go find your animal. So I think it's very useful. It helped me find, I based a lot of my teaching on books, like How to Eat 5 Worms was always incorporated with their level, chapter reading, test, everything went along with the librarian based on that, and math and everything based on it, yeah. So I think it's amazing that we have classrooms, and a really good one here in Leeds.
So how would you make people more aware of the library if they don't have social media?
Mm-hmm. Well, what I have started, I was asked, a friend of mine is the Leeds primary librarian.
Ms.
I was
Irwin.
going to say her name, but,
Ms. Irwin.
but I'm not going to, but you can. Kate's mom. And she wanted to know how we could get these early children who are coming in from nursery school, basically, and they're coming in for a pre-K, get them a library book and get them a library card and get them here to the library. So doing some research and outreach, who needs it, who the people are, getting into the schools. She invited us, so going in there, and she also asked us to come in and do story time. So one way to do is outreach. Basically, if we don't have social media, we need to go out, and it's marketing. So we're doing a back to school bash, and we'll have all these library cards, applications, and we'll have things to give them, and go into the schools. I think is a good way to do it. Any event we can get to, get everybody a card, give them a fun welcome bag in their language.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, in that way. That'd be cute.
Yeah.
They like it. And they get treasure box stuff if they want it.
Yes, exactly. It's so much reward to come here. My kids love reading. They love coming to the library. They still do. I just still do.
Oh, yeah. The library's fun. It's really fun.
It is, yeah.
I love it.
I do too. I know you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great.
Very much. I love it. What else do you need from me?
I think that's it. But thank you for coming to do this interview, Robert.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. These are really good questions.